Picture this. In a world where man and machine live in harmony, you turn your key to leave for work and nothing. Congratulations, you've just been martened by nature's own mechanics from hell. How do we protect our cars from these furry creatures? You could politely ask them to leave using some annoying, cheap, ultrasonic devices. Or you could make them wish they were deaf. Introducing the self-aiming ultrasonic cannon designed to make martens question their life choices. It should look a little bit like this. No, but it will be way smaller, of course. I will call it SAURON, self-aiming ultrasound Raccoon overthrowing neutralizer. Yes, Raccoon. You might be thinking, aren't we dealing with martens? Well, SAURON sounds like a fish-based Pokemon. And let's be honest, if this thing can take down a raccoon, a marten doesn't stand a chance. My SAURON prototype is based on a moving head project. For the self-aiming part, I luckily bought some components from my ESP32 Power over Ethernet room sensor. It's an infrared matrix sensor, it's like a thermal camera, but it only has 32 × 24 pixels. And it should be perfect to track furry intruders too. But back when I bought this, I had to swear that I wasn't up for no good. Little did they know that I'd be using this to clean up this town of martens. The sensor needs to be connected using the I2C bus, which stands for Inter-Integrated Circuits. It's also called TWI, two-wire interface, because it needs at least 3 wires. The data line, the clock line, and ground, but technically only 2 bus lines, so fine. Most of the time, also in this case, you will also have to connect VCC. You can buy it as a ready-to-use module, or you can buy the sensor itself and save a few bucks. Because hey, connecting 4 wires isn't too hard, right? Right? Turns out when I connected it for the very first time to my Arduino, I reversed the supply voltage and left the room to get some more jumper wires. When I came back, the temperature sensor was almost on fire. Looking at the datasheet, in fact, it's a miracle it survived. But is it just me, or is this pin-out illustration super confusing? Anyway, it was clearly a sign that this project had to be pursued. The sensor itself has a supply voltage of 3.3 volts. So directly connecting it to Arduino Uno would be the final nail in the coffin. Arduino Uno comes with a 3.3 volt output. There is also a big difference between Arduino Uno R3 and R4. R3 has its own dedicated LDO, so you can look at the datasheet and find out how much current you can draw from this pin. On Arduino R4, the 3.3 volt pin is directly connected to the Renesas chip. And they don't tell you how much current you can draw before you incinerate the soldered on chip. And Arduino R4 is not exactly famous for its high current rating. But the datasheet of the chip gives me hope. It should support around 50 milliamps. So it should be enough to supply my sensor. I still need to be careful with the I2C lines, because if I switch this output to high, it would either damage the sensor or the Arduino Uno. Thankfully, every device connected to an I2C bus is only allowed to pull down the signal lines to ground. And I can pull it up using resistors to 3.3 volt, and it will work for both my Arduino and my sensor. As long as we don't manually set these pins to high, we're safe. The software itself is pretty simple. The great thing is that there is already a library, so I don't have to reinvent the wheel. I tried to compile it for Arduino R3 and it turns out it doesn't have enough memory. And so I decided that ESP32 would be a greater fit anyway, because it runs on 3.3 volt. So I started connecting everything to my ESP32 Arduino clone, only to find out that it's broken and it doesn't work. So I then removed the ESP32 and replaced it by Arduino Uno R4. So maybe this is the project for Arduino R4 to shine. The problem with Arduino Uno R4 is, well, there are many problems, but the problem that bugs me most right now is the limited I2C speed. You see, it's limited to 400 kilohertz. And this limits the frame rate of SAURON's eye. SAURON takes a look at the image that it gets from the sensor and it calculates the average temperature, and then it checks if the hottest pixel is way above the average. And if it is, then most likely there is a marten or something else. And then it tries to move the servos in a way to get the hottest pixel into the center of the image. And that's it. It's as simple as that. So it works on humans, but will it also work on furry creatures? There is only one way to find out. Alright, so it looks like it's tracking animals too, but it prefers humans. I will rework the design, I will arm it with an ultrasonic cannon, and then we'll see how the martens react. Yeah, you're a good boy. Yeah, also one last thing, it's pretty slow because of the limited frame rate. And so if I would use an ESP32, it would improve. Is it fast enough to scare martens? I don't know. But we will have to find out. Subscribe and ring that notification bell. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.